hey, yo, can you do me a favor? Make sure you like this video, comment on this video, and subscribe to my channel if you like it, okay? And while you're there, you can check out my recent baby shower video I put up, as well as my regular reviews that I do every week. So let's go ahead and get into it.
What up, everybody? Let's talk about it. It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it.
What up, everybody? It's April Dawn. Let's talk about it. This is The Chi Season 4, Episode 6. All right, so this episode, we got a multitude of things happening. We got the mayor arrives with a gunshot wound. Tiffany and Dom are trying to work out their business woes together. We got the Kevin, Jake, and Gemma saga that's happening. Them kids got grown people problems. Nina finally learns about what Dre has been hiding, although she has made a mistake. So we see at the beginning of the episode, the shooter of the Mayor Duda, Mayor Otis Perry, is none other than Laverne. This is Brandon's mother. So after all this time of her not being on the show, we haven't seen from her since Brandon's funeral, remember? And she just decided to shoot him, and she gave this speech about how he doesn't get to be a hero, and everybody might think you're the man, but you still ain't shit. And I was just like, girl, we haven't seen or heard from you. It just like totally perplexed me why they would choose to do that. It kind of just pulled it out of their ass a little bit. But okay, I was here for the dramatic effect, and y'all, here we go again with this damn music. Is anybody noticing the amount of changes they are making with the way they shoot the show this season other than me? Because, baby, that music be taking me out. It sounds like a late night soap opera. It feels like I'm watching Empire. Like, that's the type of music that plays in the background. Like, heavy violin, heavy on the drama. It's disturbing to me. It's upsetting me, my homegirls. So she says he took away everything from her, so this is why she's killing him or whatever. So, of course, like we said, Brandon was gone because he ended up going to the FBI, right? And so we find out Duda just flat out admitted, right? Like, I had to kill him because he was going to the FBI to talk. I mean, what you think I was going to do? Leave him alive? Like, you crazy. Kind of feel like, even though we understand what happened, and now they trying to tie the story up because they never told us what happened to Brandon. We just saw him go off in the season, at the end of the season, and that was it. He wasn't dead. You know what I'm saying? So he's dead now, and he's dead because he went to Fed, but we don't know the ins and outs of that story. So, I don't think the Chi is going to develop this storyline any further, and that's the thing that disappoints me, is that we won't see this storyline go anywhere. It's kind of just like it came out of nowhere just to like wrap up who shot Otis without it being, one of the main people in the storyline that we're watching right now and really paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, how did y'all feel about that? Just her just jumping out of here when we haven't seen her in so long and ending up being the killer. So he almost dies. He does flatline, and we do see that his wife, Rosalind, is, screaming over him. She's crying over him. And so he comes back. So he's not dead, baby. He has not gone to glory. He still said he got work to do in the city of Chicago. In the meantime, in between time, honey, Miss Rosalind is taking his place. So she walks out to the press. She gives them a little, a little what's up, you know what I'm saying? Like, I said what I said, and it seems like the media is out on, a campaign to have a certain type of media, salacious media, about my husband. Are you speaking from the mayor's office? And she was like, baby, when you talking to me, you are talking to the mayor's office. And what if somebody said, what about the good cops? And she said, well, if they're good cops, they should be standing with us as well. And then she said, stand with you or else. She was like, yes, stand with us or else get run over. And I was like, ooh, girl. Maybe she wanted some power, child. I started saying, uh-oh. Candy did a good job, even though, she tight in the mouth. But she did a real good job on that part. So later on in the episode, we see Duda in the hospital. We see his wife come to visit him. And, he's looking out the door. She like, you looking for Tracy? He was like, no, I ain't looking for Tracy. And she's signing paperwork or whatever, trying to get things done. And he's like, listen, I ain't going to be out there long. And she was like, I know, you know what I'm saying? But I'm handling business or whatever till you get back. So later on, we see that Tracy comes in and she's like, my budget increase request has been denied by the mayor's office, so his wife technically, or him maybe, who knows. But she was like, "What was you really interested? Were you really interested in helping the community, or were you just trying to get me to have sex with you? And he was like, he didn't say anything. And then he was like, wait, hold on, baby. I mean, because when she came in there, he was like, I didn't even have a chance to dye my beard. You know what I'm saying? So clearly, like, he's older than we think he is. And, you know, he likes to look a certain way and present himself a certain way and have a certain type of power. And now, like, this whole episode is like everybody is taking his power. I think he actually likes Tracy. So I sort of retract my statement. I think he actually liked Tracy. You know, he like her. You know what I'm saying? Because seemed like he was actually disappointed when she walked out of the room. But I mean, seemed like, you know what I'm saying, he had the power, right? He told her she can get with it or get the on. Remember that, sir? You remember that? Now you can get the on, okay? Well, we'll get back to them. I don't know if it's anything else in that storyline, but we'll get back to them if there is. So let's talk about Kevin, Jake, and Gemma, honey. So they got the grown people ass storyline. Basically, it had to have been some weeks because Keisha is back at work. So it has to have been some weeks since, you know, they have found out, I think, because this timelines be throwing me off on this show. We talked about that on the last review. So anywho, you know, Jake and Gemma are like smiling and winking at each other in class. They're doing the most. And Kevin is like, y'all really gonna do this right in front of my face? Like, this is real ignorant. So he throws something at Jake, but, you know, they keep on doing it. So he gets up and he starts to try to fight Jake, right? Of course, he wants to fight him. So they go to fighting, and, you know, Kevin is trying to get back, and he trying to, you know, they hitting each other or whatever, but Kevin is about to get the one up on him. He like swings around and he punches the teacher in the nose. The teacher starts bleeding and he gets suspended indefinitely, which means he ain't coming back, baby. They don't want you there no more. In the episode, they go to Papa's podcast, and, you know, he sets up this meeting with them so they can talk about whatever their issues are. He sort of bum rushes them and lies to them, you know, and makes them think that, oh, you know, you're going to be on the podcast, but he didn't say anything about the other people being there. So they get there, they go through this whole thing, you know, he got to give him his spiel about, you know, I want you guys to be here, I want you guys to work it out, let's talk about our problems, so they all end up staying, and then Gemma just tells Kevin that she needs something different. I mean, you know, he's not the same guy that she met. And, you know, she wants to fight the powers. You know what I'm saying? And he don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So she needs somebody that's different. But my thing is, do Jake want to do that? Would he be doing all this with you if he wasn't beat up by the police, girl? I don't know. Maybe, you know, maybe that has changed him. I don't know. Kevin tells her something about being a pass around. You know, he gets upset. Maybe that was before. I don't know. Child, I don't remember, child. But they was going back and forth. And Kevin get mad. He jumps up and he leaves. So, you know, they like, forget this. So later on, Jake and Jim are at the house. And, you know, he's saying, I love Kevin or whatever, but, like, I can't be living my life for Kevin. And so, you know, they go to kissing, and it get all hot and heavy. And then Trigg walks in on them and is like, okay, I'm going to need for y'all to get y'all ass up now. And Imani comes in and is like, okay, come with me. You know, we was all young once. Let's just talk about it, you know, whatever. So Trigg actually sits him down and talks to Jake not only about sex, but about, you know, how you treat a woman, how you should care about her heart, you know, making sure that woman is good too. You should want to be with her more than just to smash, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should like being around her as a person. And so it was a good little talk, and I was glad they had it. And then the same thing the girls talk about. Then Gemma's dad comes to pick her up, which I thought was kind of strange, but okay, I was just like, okay, he knew where to go, like, huh? Wasn't that the trap house? But okay. That dramatic ass music though, it's a no-go for me. Like, on this episode, it was a no-go. You also had Maisha and Papa. You know, their relationship went through some rocky roads. Just being, you know, they get in their little arguments, but they work it out between each other. But this time, that wasn't going to be the case. So Papa is discouraged about his podcast because he hasn't been getting the listeners that he wants to get. And so Maisha is just encouraging him. You know, it takes time. You said you didn't want this for clout, right? So it can't be just because the celebrities, you know, are not trying to be on your podcast. You know, just wait. It takes time. You know, you're doing this for the people. And so while she's saying that, she gets a phone call from a magazine that wants to do a profile on her. So she's up and coming. You know, she's a rapper. So she ends up doing this fabulous photo shoot. It's amazing. You know, they come down. She has this big crown on her head. She looks so cute. And then they do an interview with her. And it was one of the girls from, what's her name? Skylar or something like that. I can't remember her name. But she was on Love and Hip Hop. So, Sydney. That's her name. Sydney Starr. Yeah. So she's doing the interview, and they talk about different things, and then Papa kind of plugs the podcast. He give the lady his card, so he kind of bogart his way into this interview, right? And I was just like, sir, now you doing the wrong thing. You doing the wrong thing. She gonna play it real cool. Maisha gonna play it real cool. She gonna chill. She is not the same girl from the first season who pop off. She just chill. She's like, okay, you know what I'm saying? I see what you're doing, but we'll talk about this shit later. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was giving there, like, we'll talk about it later. After they did the podcast thing with Kevin and them, it was something about, sometimes you start off with somebody, don't mean you're supposed to end up with that person. And so Papa said something to her about it after, and she did say, you need to stop taking everything so personal. Everything ain't about us. And so after this, like I said, the photo shoot happened. So later on, he says, May, I think that's maybe it's best that we don't work together anymore because, she talked to him and was like, why did you feel like you had to interrupt on me? That was my time to shine. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to shine. He was like, I just want us to shine together. Like, he was jealous of her a little bit. Like, you can tell he was jealous because her little rap thing is popping off or whatever, and his podcast is not popping off as fast as he wanted to or whatever. It's silly to me, but they kids, so they have the mindset of kids, right? So he tells her later, okay, well, I thought about it and maybe we should not work together anymore because we don't want to mix business with pleasure. And she was like, you know what, I agree with you, and also we probably should take a break. And he was like, wait a minute, hold up now, I didn't say I wanted to take no break. And she was like, well, I said I want to take a break. Okay. And baby, she left. And I was like, ooh, all these nights it feels like you and me. Heartbreak anniversary. Heartbreak anniversary all up and through that, baby. Because he about to be hurt up, honey, behind Maisha ass. He gonna aggravate the hell out of that girl. At the end of the episode, Kevin goes to his school and he apologizes for what he has done. He gives this big long speech about how he want to represent the North Side and how he wants to do all these things, right? But then the principal is like, that thank you. I just really appreciate you saying those things. That's just really nice. And that's how I knew that things was about to go left. And he said, well, but we have a zero tolerance policy. And Kevin gets very upset. He starts screaming. He starts saying, if this was a white kid, would you do this to them? And I mean, Kevin, don't get me wrong. I understand what you're saying, bro. But like, you out here, you was getting drunk and high at the school, playing, gambling and stuff, playing video games, getting caught on a field trip. And then now you punching teachers. Now it was an accident, but you're still fighting at school. You didn't accidentally injure somebody, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It's like you gotta have a leg to stand on as well. You can't be up wilding out and act a fool and think that people are gonna just keep giving you chances. So I don't know, but would they do this to a white student? That's a good question. Would they be giving chance after chance after chance? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. What do you guys think about that? So Dominique and Tiffany get offered this business deal with this white woman that has a cannabis company. Tiffany is all for it. Tiffany is ready to sign them dotted line. And Dominique has more questions. She wants to know how it's going to work, what the deal is. She has more questions about the deal. And so Tiffany gets upset with her because she's not ready to just make the money. She ready just to make some money. She's not worried about the ins and outs of it. They get into it. Later on in the episode, Tiffany apologizes and then they get offered a deal. A guy that works for Brandon's cousin, Hannibal. Y'all remember Hannibal with the cannabis and all that stuff? So he has his business and, it's black owned and they come at him and, Dominique is allowed to ask the questions that she needs to ask to get the deal done. And then they get the deal done. And like I said, it ends up good. So let's talk about this whole Nina and Dre situation. Jada, right? So Jada she was with Emmett and Tiffany, and they're talking to her, chatting her up or whatever, and she goes through this breakdown in the episode where she's tired of trying to make people feel okay about what has happened to her. And, people always try to reassure you and tell you that, you know what I'm saying? And like, she's just like, I'm just tired of trying to make other people feel good. So she vents to Dre about this later on in the episode. And then so they hug. But Nina sees them hugging. She's basically following Dre, and she texts Dre, and Dre said that she's in a meeting and she would call her back. So now she thinks that Dre and Jada are cheating or whatever. So she goes to the bar and she gets, she's drinking, and who does she see but the brat in the bar? The brat, the rapper. And they end up making sweet sweet love, honey, and she just go home drunk in love and get in the bed. And then she's talking to Dre, and Dre ends up telling her that Jada has cancer. I don't know why it took so long for this to happen, and I don't really understand this storyline. To me, it's just silly, okay? But you would have told her by now. You would not let your marriage to fall into shambles. So now Nina done cheated on Dre. And come to find out that she was just supporting her friend who has cancer. So is the Brad character going to be reoccurring? Is she going to be like a stalker? Are they going to run into each other somewhere and something's going to happen? Who knows? What did y'all think about that particular storyline they had going on? As for Jada, her and Suede, they're in love, honey. She finally told him that she loved him back. If you remember, he told her he loved her in the last episode, and they in love. And at the end of the episode, like I said, her hair started falling out as she's taking out her braids, so we already know she's gonna have to go bald or cut her hair really short. So it'll be interesting to see how this storyline plays out. I hope that she lives, y'all. Oh my God, I don't have time for her to die. She goes through something every season. I just want her to live a nice, happy life with the man for at least one season before she died. Sheesh. Trigg and Imani pretty much make up from their fight from last week, so she eases up on him a little bit. She says he admits that he judged those girls, and he could have done more than what he did to help them. So he does admit that he was wrong, and they're going to try to move on, and they seem like they was in a better space this week. And last but not least, let's talk about Keisha. So this week, Keisha is back at work. This is why, assuming it was a little bit of time had passed, at least a few weeks have passed, right? Because she got to get back to her normal self. Now, maybe not a maternity leave, but enough so you can heal. So maybe a week or so. She's back at work, and she runs into the guy, and he asks her about the baby, and did she name the baby? She says that his mother will name him, his adopted mother. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. She was like, it's all good or whatever. So then he asked her on a date. So later on, she's at the house, and she's kind of looking around, and she sees a picture of her track body, her track thing, and she's like thinking about, okay, well, maybe I'll call him. So she calls him, and he invites her over for, some food that he can make some real good Alfredo, a real basic bitch date, you know what I'm saying, type of date vibe. And she was like, no, I don't feel comfortable going to a stranger's house. And he was like, okay, I can understand. So basically they're trying to present him as a really, really, sensitive guy, a guy who's very aware, and he's very patient with her, and he doesn't want to offend her in any type of way. He tells her it's fine, we can go eat at Smokey's. Like, that's fine, that's cool or whatever. So she agrees to do that, and then they meet up at Smokey's, and they have a date with each other, and they're kind of just talking about the different struggles they had went through. He reaches out to touch her hand, and she kind of draws back, and she starts to have somewhat of a panic attack. And so what the cool thing was he took time to calm her down, to get her to breathe or whatever, her to count from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and she was able to calm down, and she got up to go, do what she needed to do, and they continued on with the date, basically. So I thought that was really cool. So we seem like he's going to be a nice guy. His name is Christian, and we'll see, what happens with that storyline, okay? So as far as her and Tabitha goes, we see her pumping milk at some point in the episode, and, she's pumping milk for a baby, that's not hers, essentially, and she ends up going to Octavia's, and, eventually Octavia can see, the look in her eye, she wants to hold the baby. So she holds her son. It is a boy baby. It is a boy baby. So, she holds her son, and she tells Christian this later in the episode, and he's like, how does it feel? And she said it felt like it was amazing. Then we see at the end of the episode, she goes down to Nina, who was sitting there having an attack, swarming hurricane of guilt, honey, for laying up with that lady when your wife wasn't even cheating on you, you dirty dog. So anywho, she came downstairs, so Nina is already vexed. Her spirit is vexed, honey. She is done. She is through. She is over, baby. And then she gonna say some shit talking about, Mom, I want my baby back. Girl, if you don't get the fuck out of here playing with this lady now, this lady done told you she done had an almost adoption 3 or 4 goddamn times. And now you finna tell her that she got to, girl, you is doing the most. And I'm gonna need for you to figure out what you want to do. Maybe they can do like an open adoption situation. Because I just don't see. We're going to see how nice Tabitha is on this next episode. Or what's her name on the show, Octavia. We're going to see how nice Miss Octavia is after she find out this shit. She going to be letting you come up to the job then. Okay? Alright, y'all. That was this episode. So I want to hear your thoughts about the Chi Season 4, Episode 6. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with all your friends, and I will holler at you next week. Peace.